Hello and welcome to another episode of The Corporate Etiquette, a show where we break down the corporate world so you can make better sense of it. My name is Laura and welcome, I guess, to what is going to be the last video of this year. And I do also want to say, wow, what a year it has been starting my YouTuber career. So thank you very much to everybody that has stuck around, to everybody that subscribed and engaged with the content. I'm super thankful for all of you. And unfortunately, in this very last video, I do want to apologize if the sound is not exactly what you are used to so far from my videos. I am actually at my parents' place, but you can't see because I removed the background. But I didn't bring my microphone all the way with me because it's quite big. So it's just the camera audio that you're hearing. But hopefully it's not too bad and we can still get through this very last video on a very important topic, namely, when you get another external offer, should you take that offer or should you try to negotiate your salary and stay at your current company? So if that sounds interesting to you, then do remember to give this video a thumbs up because we do need to feed the algorithm gods and it puts this video in front of more and more people. Now, before we actually get into analyzing how to make this decision, I do want to state that the right decision for you is really known only by you. Only you are able to evaluate your circumstances, your wishes and wants, and make that decision. So don't let this video try to sway you one way or the other, although I do think that I am biased in this answer. That being said, let's dive right in. So I'm sure everybody at one point in their career, if you're at least a few years into your corporate career, you have gotten into this situation. You applied for an external job, you get an offer, and then you are thinking, should I actually take this offer back to my manager and try to renegotiate the salary at my current company, or should I just take the plunge and leave? So the first thing that you should do when you get a new job or when you have applied and gone through all of this is actually analyze why you want to leave or what made you apply to this new position in the first place. And while most of us would say that getting a better salary is the main reason why we apply to a different company, that may not always be the case, and that might not be the case for you in particular. This is why I really think you need to sit down and actually make a physical list, either on your laptop or on a classical piece of paper, and really write down what is driving this change. Do you want more responsibility? Are you trying to ditch a toxic environment? Or maybe did you simply reach a ceiling in your current company and while they won't kick you out, there's also no other place to go further. And I know that writing down all of these pros and cons in a list might seem like a bit of a funky or old-fashioned advice, but really visually seeing all the reasons that made you decide to potentially make the leap and leave might be useful also in comparing to your new opportunity. And this is also a super simple, low effort way of ensuring that you don't get swept up when you compare opportunities and accidentally jump into something that seems like a good idea in the first place, but then actually when you look into the details, there are some funky things going on. For example, if you wanted to change jobs because you wanted more responsibility and the new offer is actually an exact carbon copy of what you're doing right now, but with more money, while that might seem very appealing in the first place because, yeah, who doesn't like more money, it might not be the best step for your career. And I'm not saying that you should stay in your current job forever, simply that perhaps jumping at the very first job offer or something that just might seem good because it has more money is not a good idea. Now that you've analyzed all of the reasons why you have decided to leave, the next thing that you have to do is actually compare the benefit packages. And like I said, for a lot of people, the actual salary is a big driver in why they want to change their jobs. But let us not forget about all of the other elements that go into a benefit packages because ultimately you want to compare the total package or the total compensation, not just a salary number. So keep this in mind and look out for unfavorable trades. For example, are you getting a little bit more money, but are you sacrificing a lot more vacation days for these or perhaps your pension benefits? Because ultimately, if you have to make up for these benefits from your salary, are you actually ending up in a net net positive at the end of the day. And honestly, that's what we're looking for, right? We want to change for the better. We want a net positive improvement. So make sure that you don't get swept away by the sticker price of that job, which would be, I guess, the salary. And make sure that you compare how this will also impact your life. For example, if you no longer have sick days or things like that, that can really impact the quality of your life going forward, and it might not be a worthwhile trade. Of course, one thing that has to be said is that when you actually go into a new job, you have an opportunity to negotiate many more benefits than were actually initially offered by your current place, or even that the new company is putting on the table from the get-go. And I have an entire video that I will hopefully link. I never really figure out where the sticker is going to be. Somewhere here, you're going to see a sticker to my video on things that you can negotiate other than your salary. And since we've been talking so much about salary, the next thing that I want you to think about is future revenue predictions. I think I mentioned this actually in a past video, but one of my mentors basically put it very, very clearly and bluntly to me that after 2 years working for the same company, you are most likely underpaid compared to the market rate salary. And the more you stay, the worse this discrepancy is going to get. This is generally because annual salary increases actually do not match the rise in the open market salary. And yeah, the more you stay, those small percentage changes over the years can compound, and you really get left behind in terms of benefits and compensation. And of course, the difference between your current salary or total compensation and your new offer will determine just how underpaid you really are. So it can be anything from a small margin like a 10%, or perhaps you might even see a 30 to 40% difference depending on your area and how long you've been with the same company. And as a totally personal side note, can we just accept how tragic that is, that loyalty and good work is not really appreciated as jumping ship? But well, it is what it is. That being said, however, I do want to ask you this question. Before you jump ship, before you look at that sticker price and think, this is the better offer, I'm going to take it, do ask yourself, which one of these two companies, your new potential company or your old company, has better growth predictions in the future? For example, let's assume that your current company only gives you a 1 to 2% increase every year in salary and benefits, and you successfully manage to renegotiate your salary to this higher point. Of course, you do this as using your counter offer as a result of your job search. However, if up until now, they have given you only the 1 to 2% increases, which caused, let's say, a big discrepancy compared to the open market, staying will eventually just get you into the same point. They will continue to give you these very small increases, now emboldened even more by the fact that, well, we just gave you a 30% increase because you asked for it. We can't keep on giving you these 10% increases every year, which, has some sort of capitalist logic behind it. However, I do want to stress here again that if you stay in a few years, you will become underpaid again, not only because, that is just the trend, but this company has already showed you that this is the way they operate. And let me just say that I don't think that this is an easy thing to estimate. However, we should do our best to understand, do I have a better chance of being better paid annually on a progressive manner at the new company? Will the stock of the new company outperform the stock of my old company? The next thing I want you to keep in mind when trying to decide if you should jump ship to a new place or renegotiate and stay is, okay, this is going to sound super cheesy and I'm sorry, but be fearless. I really think it's important to include this because fear of the unknown, fear of being uncomfortable in a new environment, of new challenges, can sometimes keep you locked into positions that are not ideal for you. And let me say this as somebody who has made this mistake in my career, I think 1 or 2 times until I finally got out of that mentality. I know very, very well just how comforting a job that you can do well and know well is. You have an easy life, you're not stressed, you know how things work, you know the problems, you know the people that you have to talk to, and this can easily lull you into a false sense of security. So why not just accept this from the get-go and face it head on? Growth does not come from comfort. You have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. And you know what? Let me be the first to say it. When you change jobs, it will be uncomfortable. It's it's not going to be a great time for like the first 90 days until you're fully onboarded. Also, as a side note, if you do want me to make a video on how you should tackle the first 90 days of your job, do leave a comment or a like for this video so I know that you are interested in this. But truthfully, this is just how the world works. When you start a new job, you won't know what anybody is talking to. You won't know who they are. They will ask you questions that you don't even understand, let alone know how to answer. And that is stressful and uncomfortable. And like, who wants to live through that? However, you will make it through, and you will also get to a place where you are comfortable again in your new job, but perhaps, not complacent as you used to. This is simply the life cycle of changing a job. Everybody goes through it. You're not alone, and it will never go away. Every single time you will change your job, you will go through this. The next thing that I want to stress when you are in the process of trying to decide if you should get a new job is the benefit of change. After working for a long number of years in the same company, you will kind of get used to that ecosystem. You're going to get used to how things are done there. You know what the limitations are, you know what the possibilities are, you know what the processes are, and oftentimes we actually take these for granted. We think that this is the way every other company works. However, this is going to build unconscious biases in the way you work and the way that you approach your work. And again, let me give you an example from my personal experience. I worked at Amazon almost straight out of college, and for 5 years, I just thought this is how things are. This is how the corporate world works. This is how every single company is run. It just makes sense that it's run like that. And I also didn't have any other terms of comparison. And then when I left and I came to booking, it suddenly dawned on me that that's not simply a universal standard like in school, and every company has a different approach to how they solve problems. And this gave me also the opportunity both to learn new things and new approaches, but also to teach and try to apply the things that I did see that could work in other circumstances. And this will be true for you as well. Like I said, while changing jobs is uncomfortable and challenging and tough, it basically gives you the opportunity to hold a mirror to your professional self and really analyze, how do you do things? How do you approach problems? And why do you do it like that? Is that a universal approach, or perhaps is there some tweaking required in order to really make it work in your new context? Ultimately, I do have to say that trying different approaches, being subjected to different circumstances and different cultures, different ways of working, will eventually make you a better professional in your field. And to be perfectly honest, when people talk about why experience or years of experience is an important factor when choosing somebody for a job, this is why. If you have been doing the same thing in the same way for a very long time, I'm not saying that that experience is invalid, not at all, but in my opinion, it might be less valuable than somebody who has tried and failed to apply the same things in different contexts and really learned how to get something to work. That's why I'm saying don't discount the power of change and how it will help you grow. The very last thing that I want to stress when trying to make this decision of maybe potentially renegotiating your salary is this conversation is a point of no return. Let me say it again. The minute you tell your manager or whomever you are having this discussion with that you have a better offer from a different company, that is a point of no return. You cannot undo that conversation. Once the words have left your mouth, that's it, you have to deal with it. From that point onwards, your manager will definitely know that either you are being actively poached and you went to the interviews, or you are actively looking for a new job, and not only did you go to the interview, you were also successful. And while of course you may be a very highly skilled, highly valuable employee that the company will try to retain, you probably should also know that, if layoffs are coming in any time in the near future, I'm not saying it's 100% for sure that your name is on the chopping block, but your name might be on the chopping. So just know that you do run this risk of being retained with, let's say, a bit of ill intent, with either the plans to put you on the layoffs if layoffs are to happen, or even perhaps keep you around until you can train your replacement, only to be let go after that. So just in case you are offered this new salary at your old job and you're super, super happy, but then you're suddenly asked to train Joe from accounting to take over from you, maybe start applying casually to jobs again. Just saying. What are some of the things that help you decide whether you should take a new job or stay in your old position? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm really interested to hear about it, and I do read every single comment that you guys leave. Thank you very much if you have stuck around all the way to the end of this video, and happy holiday period. I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope the new year will bring you health, happiness, and professional success. And hopefully we'll see each other in January for more videos on how the corporate world works. That's it for today. Have a good one. And the neighbors have started drilling, so I just hope that you don't really hear that very much. We keep going.